Hello fellow mutants, welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to talk about how, Luke Skywalker explains why his green lightsaber is his most powerful. Because I think he had in a total of 3 in canon. The one that Obi-Wan gave him, which was his father, that Obi-Wan tinkered a bit with. And then apparently Luke had this gold lightsaber in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And then Luke also had that classic green lightsaber that we see him use in Return of the Jedi and Book of Boba and Mandalorian. So let's see why Luke feels that his green saber is his most powerful, I guess, lightsaber. As the origin of Luke Skywalker's green lightsaber is revealed, the young Jedi explains why it's more powerful than his previous sabers. Luke Skywalker is officially constructing his green lightsaber, with a dive into Star Wars lore revealing why it's his most powerful weapon. Above the blue lightsaber given to him by Obi-Wan and yellow lightsaber he wielded between movies. Currently, Luke is wielding a broken version of his yellow lightsaber, but the unstable weapon needs to be replaced if he's going to stand a chance in his upcoming rematch with Darth Vader. in a preview of Charlie's Soul, Mandy Busbelick and Rachel Rosenberg, Star Wars issue 34, Luke begins researching how to create a new lightsaber by referring to a recently acquired Jedi text. Sadly, the tone is lacking in practical advice, but it does inform him that a Jedi is meant to have a special connection to their lightsaber. Choosing a kyber crystal and constructing a lightsaber is a rite of passage for Jedi, and one which allows them to fully become in tune with their weapon. But with his previous lightsabers, Luke skipped this step. Now he's finally going to do things right with his green lightsaber. With recent reveals confirming it will get an extra power boost on a weapon he used so before. So it's more powerful because he's going to force a more of a relationship with this kyber crystal, and because of that, it's going to give him special power boost. Interesting. Okay. Luke Skywalker's ready to build his green lightsaber. Lightsabers are powerful in Star Wars lore, and that's because they near perfectly channel the Force. Indeed, Luke's recent adventures have taken pains to establish that a lightsaber is more powerful than the wielder is focused and connected to the Force. Luke recently faced some lightsaber-resistant killerdroids, but found that once he was fully in tune with the Force, he was suddenly able to slice through them like butter. The correct process of choosing and bonding with the kyber crystal enhances this even further, explaining why Luke's green lightsaber is superior to his previous weapons. It's really his, and therefore he is able to tap more into its potential. So that's why he was able to slice through those dark troopers in Mando season 2. So easily, okay. Luke's lightsaber quest makes one huge change in Jedi lore. One of the major revelations that already had to pass is Luke constructing his new lightsaber is that he won't be going to Ilum. Ilum was the preferred site for the Jedi searching for kyber crystals before the fall of the Order, but in the sequel trilogy, it was transformed into a Starkiller base. Well, that's true, but between Empire Strikes Back and The Force Awakens, there's about 50-ish years, give or take? Nearly 50 years between. So Luke could have still went to Ilum imagine, it's just like he would probably have a harder time searching Little Ilium because I have the Jedi Path book, which talks about the Jedi. Actually, should go get it. Show you guys. So this is the Jedi Path. I had to put tape on it because I read so much that it was beginning to wear out. But yeah, this is the Jedi Path book I was referring to, right? And on this page, it has Inlam, right? And in this book, along with like the other books that kind of come in the series, which there's one about the Sith, one about the Empire, the Rebellion, the Rebel Files, one about the Bounty Hunter Guide or Guild, and the one about smugglers. And I'm hoping, like, if they do canonize Grey Jedi, that they make one about Grey Jedi. But my point is, in each of these books, which if you guys haven't picked one up yet, I highly recommend doing so because these books are fascinating. There are characters, the characters from Star Wars, like, right into here. So, like, in here, it's Yoda. Like, so this is, like, this version is passed on from Master to Apprentice, right? So it's Yoda, then Thame Carillion, Dooku, which we both know that Yoda trained Dooku. I don't know exactly who Thame Carillion is, but then after Dooku is Qui-Gon, then Obi-Wan, then Anakin, then Ahsoka, and then I guess after like Order 66, Ahsoka must have like left it in the corridors or something, because then Darth Sidious, the Emperor Chief Palpatine took possession. I guess after the that Luke Skywalker took it. And here's what this little passage is wrote by Luke Skywalker, right? And before I could finish the article, I'll read this. It says the Jedi Path is one of the most amazing discoveries made since the opening of the new Jedi Academy. It was found among the artifacts recently acquired from the Squib salvage scout near the ruins of Baez. While the holocrons we recovered contains more specific details, this heavily worn manual is a tangible echo of long-time loss, which, yes, worn out, definitely, because I had to put tape to keep this together. Might have to actually buy a new version of this. Anyways, our historians estimate that text was set down a decade or more after the end of the new Sith Wars in 1000 BBY. BBY, for those of you who doesn't understand, is before the Battle of Yavin, and then ABY is after the Battle of Yavin, and it's essentially before the events of the original Star Wars movie, A New Hope, and after. So yeah, its author, Jedi Masters of Age, used the changed political structure and newfound peace as an impetus to codify the role of the Jedi Order and to establish traditions that endured for centuries. This particular copy of the book appeared to date from around 115 BBY and was passed down from Master to Padawan in succession, some of whom are new and some of whom exist as lessons only. It is therefore of considerable historical and personal significance. The thoughts and observations of each owner are recorded in their handwritten comments scrawled on the pages, which makes for interesting read. To the best of our historians' knowledge, the following in which unnatural path possess the volume. So Master Yoda, the first possessor of this copy, apparently revealed these spaces for future editions. Jedi Thame Carillion received this book when he was a child and remained in his possession at least through his teens, about 150 to 103 BBY. Dooku, Thame's Carillion's Padawan, must have got killed. Like, Jedi Thame must have died before, like, Dooku's mentorship or apprenticeship was over. I gotta look more into Thame Carillion. But anyways, Dooku, Thame Cerulean's Padawan, took control of the book during his apprenticeship around 89 to 82 BBY. He later turned to the dark side and took on the title Count. Qui-Gon Jinn was the next order given by the book, given the book by his master Dooku. Qui-Gon's comments appear to be dated from 82 to 72 BBY. We believe Qui-Gon kept it safe until Obi-Wan received this book in 44 BBY. It then passed to Anakin Skywalker in 32 BBY. Anakin owned the book for 10 years until a 10-year stretch until the start of the Clone Wars. Ahsoka Tano, Anakin's Padawan, held onto the volume, adding her comments during the Clone Wars from 22 to 19 BBY. Darth Sidious, the Sith alias as Emperor Palpatine, acquired the book during the aftermath of the Clone Wars and added his own form of caustic commentary. I continued the practice on annotating the book's text, for I sense it should remain a living document. Through its teachings, I have gained a greater understanding of what is meant to be a Jedi and honored to preserve its wisdom for generations to come. Luke Skywalker. So that was just a long ass me kind of like wanting to like read this a little bit. But the reason why I brought this book into play and this page, because I wanted to like get into the point where like Luke Skywalker mentioned how like each author put their own notes in, and so one day talk about Ilum in here, and talk about how the Jedi get their crystals. Sidious says the Jedi were mistaken if they thought they could hide these Academy worlds. As if this fairy volume didn't reveal their locations. My legion wiped them out, saving us a great deal of time tracking down the Jedi children. And I believe that, I wouldn't be surprised if Ilum was also a world where the Empire mined for Kyber crystals, because they use Kyber crystals for, the Death Star. But my point is, Ilum was a planet like where like for Luke Skywalker, he could have potentially went there. There might have been a chance for there's still some Kyber crystals on Ilum, because like it was like 50ish years before the events of the Force Awakens, before the events of 40ish years before the construction of the Starkiller Base. So there still could have been that chance where Luke Skywalker could have went to Ilum, got the Kyber crystal to be his green one. There's that chance, so I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much into this. Who knows? Anyways, getting back, Ilum was preferred site for the Jedi searching for Kyber crystals before the fall of the Order. But in the sequel trilogy, it was transformed into Starkiller Base. This meant in the future Star Wars stories, Kyber wouldn't be available from this location, raising the question on how Jedi would build new lightsabers. Again, this was set like decades before this event of the sequel trilogy. Decades before Starkiller Base was even made. So, unless if I'm wrong, and you guys can show me like fact, like if I'm wrong, please direct me to where I can look up the more specifics. But as far as I'm aware, Luke could have still want for Starkiller Base, or not Starkiller Base, Ilum to get his Kyber crystal easily. Well, not easily, but you know what I mean. Anyways, now Luke confirms that there are other sources of Kyber in the universe, as old legends idea that is now officially back to canon. This means the future Jedi after Rey Skywalker will be able to construct their lightsabers, tapping into the full power of the weapon. Okay. Now Luke confirms that there are others. That still doesn't explain how he can get his how he got his Kyber crystal, though. That's something I'm really interested in looking into. How did Luke Skywalker get his Kyber crystal then? Anyways, fans have been waiting a long time to see how Luke Skywalker officially creates his green lightsaber in the current canon. Now the story is playing out as Luke Skywalker seeks a new source of Kyber, which will allow him to create his greatest weapon, while also confirming that Star Wars future Jedi will be able to do the same. Star Wars issue 34 is available from Marvel Comics May 3rd, which by this time, May 3rd is in the past. So my point is, like, I do acknowledge that there are, like, Ilum isn't the only place to get Kyber crystals. And maybe I have to like read Star Wars issue number 34. Get myself a copy to actually see how Luke gets his iconic green saber. Like, build it. I'm, like, really interested in where did he find the Kyber crystal now, and, like, because we kind of saw in the deleted scene that he kind of, like, was putting the finishing touches on Tatooine before he came in and saved Han and Leia and practically everyone on Tatooine in, like, the first third of the movie. But so essentially the reason why his green saber is his most powerful is because he was able to connect to the Kyber crystal with the Force, and because of that, it has some heightened abilities. So I can actually kind of get behind that. I still wanted to know how he got his iconic green saber. So yeah, that said, what do you beautiful people have to say about this? Let me know in the comment section down below. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to one another, and may the Force be with us all.